Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We got you.
I
Okay.
see you. I see you
Okay,
guys,
good.
but I don't know why my picture isn't up. I've been on all this time.
Okay. We will ask you to put your video on after I introduce you, okay?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah,
We've
are
got our
you in
doctor.
under Jay Mitchell?
Yes.
Walt? Okay, that's why we couldn't find you. So you should be free to unlock your camera whenever it's time for you to pop
Okay,
on.
thanks.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right, everybody. Well, we got a little rough start, but here we go. So this evening and every Tuesday evening, we get together and do a LifeWave and X39 introductory call. I'm Robin Blank Mascari, your host for this evening, and it is my pleasure to be with everyone every week. I love this call, and a special warm welcome for any of you that are brand new. This is a great place to get an overview of the company, the history, our founder, a little bit about the science, and an introduction to the star of the show named X39. That's our stem cell activation patch. So let me begin by saying we are not here to diagnose, prescribe. If you have a health condition, please see your practitioner. When we do have an opportunity after we talk about the company and the products and invite our special guest on, then it's your turn and we invite you to share your testimonials. We love hearing your stories. And if you have questions, we'll go into your questions. And remember, we talk symptoms only, and that keeps things very, very compliant, which we like to be. So let's get started. LifeWave, who is it? What is it? LifeWave is a very, very special company that got founded by a vision from our owner and founder, David Schmidt, 16 years ago. We just celebrated our 16th birthday in November. And the company actually started out with one single product that was originally designed on a government contract for the Navy SEALs for survival. It was to help them stay awake in their little mini subs for days on end without any kind of chemicals or stimulants. And this product, called the Energy Enhancer, actually burns 500 calories of body fat and turns it into energy, which is a wonderful thing. And then 9/11 happened and the government changed its focus from survival equipment to other things. And David had this incredible breakthrough of a product and met someone who really said the best way to get such a breakthrough product to market is from person to person relationship marketing and network marketing. So David started LifeWave with a single product. And then one day, history changed again the course of the company when he received a call from the women's Olympic swim coach, Richard Quick. And he called David and said, "These patches are amazing. 6 of my 8 swimmers did their personal best." And so they started wearing patches. They raised a lot of hullabaloo because they were doing so well and people thought they were cheating. They got tested for doping, and everything was clean because the patches themselves, they look like this, are non-transdermal. Nothing goes into the body other than a frequency of light. And the company took off because the patches increase strength, stamina, athletic performance, and reduce recovery. That's what a dream for every athlete of any sort. And it's a dream for a lot of us too. So that was part of phase 1 of the company. And also in phase 1, David noticed that the Energy Enhancer patches had some pain relief qualities, and he tweaked it a little bit and created the Ice Wave patch, which is our pain patch. And the vast majority of people get instant or rapid pain relief. And then another patch that he created in phase 1 was Silent Night, which helps people create more melatonin in their system for wonderful rest. And that patch has been used in hospitals in Europe. Very exciting. Then phase 2, David's constantly in the lab. He is a scientist. He is an inventor. And phase 2 was the anti-aging phase. And he came up with several patches called Y Age. So there's Eon, Carnosine, and Glutathione. We don't get into talking about a lot of our products in this call because we focus on the star of the show, which leads us into the regenerative phase. So anti-aging puts the brakes on aging, and the regenerative phase actually turns the clock backwards. We do have scientific proof, and I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. So the regenerative phase, David had been working in the lab for many, many, many years and came up with truly a historic breakthrough. And this historic breakthrough activates your own younger stem cells. And it came out in 2018 for the field to test before it was launched to the world in January of 2019. It's quite new. The company is in over 75 countries around the world with 14 distribution centers. Has sold millions and millions of patches, and they're safe, they're affordable, they're non-transdermal. Most importantly, they're effective. And people can use them pretty much, there's only one contraindication. That's if someone's on immune suppressing meds, because they do enhance immune system, which is an important thing these days. And the X39 was born, and it changed the history of the company again. From 2018 to 2019, LifeWave tripled in size because of this one product. And the world is very excited about it, and the research continues. David is an inventor who has over 100 patents and patent pendings to his name. He's constantly in the lab looking for what's next to enhance the quality of life for people in this human condition, turn back that biological clock, and have us really enjoy quality of life. So David has been very busy doing all kinds of things, and is very committed to the science behind the product. Unusual that a company owner wants to invest this much in research. The company invests millions and millions of dollars into research to validate the efficacy of the products. And that's the reason we have thousands of healthcare practitioners, acupuncturists, chiropractors, naturopaths, MDs, all kinds of healthcare practitioners, because the products enhance the clinical outcomes. So and they love that there's the science to back it all. So what I want to do is introduce our special guest this evening, and I'm going to have him talk about the technology a little bit and why this star of the show is so special. So I want to get my notes a little bit. Dr. Walter Young did his pre-med and bachelor's in medical technology, and then he went on later to get a BS in nursing. He's worked in emergency medicine, ICU, and interventional radiology. And then he had a change of direction when he went to China, and he started learning about Chinese medicine. He came back and has the allopathic background, and now has a traditional Chinese medicine background. And he was the very first acupuncture physician into the Bethesda Hospital in Florida. He currently lives in Colorado, and he works at the Boulder Community Healthcare in their integrative center for cancer patients, and also has a private practice on traditional Chinese medicine. And I love that Dr. Walt really feels that practitioners have an obligation to be open and to share research technologies that take our patients to a paradigm shift in healthcare. And we are thrilled to have him on our team and in our community. So Dr. Walt, let's get you unmuted and get your camera on. Okay, so we can see you. Where are you? There you are.
There I am.
Yay! Good evening.
Good evening. I've been there, but I don't know what happened with all
No,
this.
we didn't know it was you. That's why. That's what happened.
Gotcha. Yeah,
So
and I don't know how we crossed that either. I'll find out.
Well,
It's okay.
if it says Jay Mitchell, I need to know that's you.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. So let's jump in and start out, Dr. Walt.
Yeah.
Why is it that you chose to get yourself involved with Lifeway? What was it that excited you, and what made you make that decision to join us?
Well, I don't know if it was, I think, I've been around a long time, 68 years, and I've progressed. I've seen an evolution in both medicines. And of course, I'm a little bit more towards the traditional Chinese medical side. But this whole evolution of patches and utilizing what's in the patches with the biophotons is stellar. It's really going to transform people's lives. I've already seen that happen. So yeah, I got involved with it because it's another paradigm shift. It's a step forward. I mean, just like CT scan or MRI scan, when those first came out, people were like, you're crazy if you're going to stick me in a tube and you can see inside of me. That can't be. But these are all these biophotons. So we're seeing these evolutions happening. And the other thing I love about David is he's done a lot of research, and he's gotten really into investing the money into this. And that's important for all of us type of physicians. We want to know that there's some good background, because we're going to approach the allopathic people. And I love that there's some allopathic physicians on board, and it's just showing that it's moving forward. So I love it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
There's always there's also a little bit of an ego. I always like having something that nobody else has.
Well, I love that you said that, because there is nothing on the market like it, and we do have a patent, and there won't be anything like it either.
Right.
So it's really wonderful to have something exclusive that's patented, and more importantly, that is so effective and changes lives. So let's talk about, before we get into how what it is a little bit and what it does. I'd love you to share a little bit about this technology that's called photobiomodulation. Would you please explain to our audience, what is that? Sure.
So the word itself, we say photobiomodulation. I say it a little bit different. I say biophotomodulation, because there's all these chemical reactions that are happening in our body, and they emit some unstable electrons, which emit light, which is a biophoton. And so the modulation comes in the fact that what's in our patches are certain organic crystals, minerals, that when we give off our light, now every living creature, even plants, will give off light energy in the form of like an infrared. When that hits these patches and they bounce back a message, the body knows what to do, and it starts to manufacture or stimulate or activate this copper peptide that is kind of like a food for our stem cells. So this has been going on for a long time as far as the biophotomodulation. I even have products, and I know some of our audience know of products where you lie yourself down, and it has crystals in it, like tourmaline is a type of crystal. So when your body's energy hits that tourmaline, it bounces back something else. So we've been doing this a long time. It's just that David Smith, with his brain, has put it into these little patches, and he has arranged these crystals in certain ways that the biophotomodulation is different for each patch, and it helps do something in the body. That's very simplistic. Another thing that I like to tell people is stem cells are cells that are like undifferentiated. They're waiting to be told what to do or what to turn into. And I've told some of my clients and patients, that some of them say, well, I don't feel anything. Well, maybe it's working on a deeper level on something that you need to have healed, basically, or, shifted around a little bit. So and I know there's other people that will use a lot of different patches on the same time, but tonight is about the X39. And I tell my patients, I want you to wear this for at least 3 months, if not 4 months. Let's get the great impact of what it's doing. There's some people that I will kind of, as I say, allow them to add something like Eon. But for the most part, I want to see as full as I can what the X39 has done for the person.
Great. So when we're talking about light therapy,
yep,
the light that comes from our body in the form of infrared heat activates the patch, correct?
Correct.
And then I love what you said, that copper peptide is food for stem cells, because I'm going to ask you about copper peptide in just a second. So what happens in this photobiomodulation is this frequency creates a biochemical change. And then like those mats do also, which is pretty exciting. So light therapy is very exciting, but what makes this so exciting is the copper peptide activating our stem cells. So would you talk a little bit more about the copper peptide and invite people to do their own research, please?
Sure. I think everybody should read. I even tell I just had a person ask me what I could do for them. I said, well, I don't do anything, but I actually showed her the X39. I said, let's see what happens, you know. And I want them to always, you have to go to the website and read it yourself. I could sit here and go on for hours, but you're not going to learn as much as if you really look at it and read about it. So this activation of this peptide that's attached with a copper molecule is like a message. It's almost like I said before, food for the stem cells to say, okay, we got food, we can eat better, and we can now go to the site that needs to be helped, like a very inflamed part of the body. There's another type of a chemical that's called a cytokine. These stem cells, once they get activated, they know that when there's this messenger out there and they can smell out these cytokines, they know they have to go there. It's like you have a normal, I hate to use this analogy, but you have a normal team of football players. They're ready to go, but they're all weak and sluggish. And along comes the superfood and they eat it. Now, even though you had the team, now they're ready to go. They're really strong and they're ready to move on. So it's the same way in your body. You just have to explain it in those kind of terms. I always try to bring it down to something that people can understand instead of all these chemical things, you know, that we have to go and learn. And so it's simple.
That's really beautiful because it is simple and it's not simple at the same time. But the way you describe it is beautiful, that those stem cells are looking for work and they're looking for inflammation from what you just said. And then they go and get busy because
Right.
Could you tell in the copper peptide, in like Dr. Walt says, do your own research, and I wrote it in the chat box, research GHK-CU, because it does many things. One of them is the food for the stem cells and activating them and creating more from your skin, but there's many more.
Yeah.
And we have we only talk about the things that we have the clinical proof for, but it does lots more than we even talk about. And it is a miracle that the billion-dollar companies have been trying to activate unsuccessfully, and David Schmidt was successful. And so he's getting known around the world in the scientific community for doing something that has never been done before. That's why we call it a historic breakthrough. So now let's talk about the star of the show a little bit. What else can people expect when they use this patch, and how do they use it? How long do they use it? And what are the things that make it most effective?
Let me start with where to put it on your body. We right now talk about behind your neck, where I have mine right now, or about 3 inches below your belly button. Those are the two areas that we really talk about because those are major acupuncture points. And if you remember, David kind of like uses our meridians in traditional Chinese medicine to put all the other different types of patches. So in answering your question about what can they expect, in actuality, it's going to help with your stem cell activation. Now, you need to read up on stem cell activation. In Spanish, stem cells are called células madres, and madres means mother cell. So these are cells that are going to change into whatever they need to become to help heal your organ, or I've seen skin heal tremendously. I've seen pain also. So it really depends on where your body needs first. Remember, your body's going to do what it needs for life saving. You may want to have real pretty skin, but that may not be where you're going to see it right away. Go to another patch, but it will help, because I've had very healthy young woman who said, I just want to try it. And in 2 weeks, she said, what's going on? My skin is totally different. And all the other estheticians have noticed that my skin looks different. What are you doing? So it just depends upon what you need. And I want people to realize that. It's vital that you know that, I think.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, stem cells have this innate wisdom to go to what's needed most.
What's the,
Yeah, and you said it earlier that we don't do anything, or you don't do anything as a practitioner. Our bodies are miraculous, and their whole purpose is to get to homeostasis. So this helps, right?
exactly. Yep, exactly.
Good, good. And I like that you said 3 to 4 months. Give it, several months, because sometimes people don't notice things. What if people notice something that they don't like? What do you tell them?
Well, there's a part of that that can happen, and that's usually we call it a Herxheimer's, or most people know it as a detox, because as your stem cells start to pull apart, let's say a matrix that is old or that's injured, those byproducts have to go somewhere. So they'll go into your blood system, and you may feel a little punky. I always tell people to increase your water. Don't stop the patch, because you've got to break through that wall. You've got to hydrate yourself with these patches. We're full of water, a saline type of solution, a salt solution. So you need to hydrate, and know that that may happen. You may get a little punky. Now, I have one person who's been sick for 15 years, okay, and looked at everything. I gave her the X39, and she had 3 bowel movements that day, big bowel movements, and she's normally constipated. So I said, that's what it needed. Your body said, okay, we got to get rid of all this junk, and we'll start from there. So, yeah.
So everybody's body is different. And we never know who's going to experience what. And you said hydration is very important. We want people to wear the patches 12 hours on and 12 hours off. The body needs a break from the signal. And it's okay. You will never hurt anything if you leave it on too long or forget to take it off. A lot of people like to take their phones and kind of program them for 12 hours. So let's see if anyone has any testimonials or questions. And remember, we do not mention disease states. We only talk symptoms, and we'd love to hear your story. So we have, I think we have Mike Patton, who has a testimonial he'd like to share. So I'm going to unmute your phone, Mike. We'd love to see you, but it's kind of complicated. So your voice, we get to have your voice, as we witnessed already. So you should be able to talk now. Let's see. Let's see what happened.
How's that?
We got it. And we got your picture
awesome.
too. Great.
Oh, you do? Wow. Aren't you wonderful? Well, hopefully it doesn't break the camera.
You're looking good. You're looking good.
Anyway, I just wanted to share with the group, anybody new especially, this is really fantastic. And Robin, you've heard my story. I visited my mom and sister out in Phoenix, and to help with health issues, and I bought a pack to take a bunch of patches out there to help them with. And not only did I share with them, but I said, well, let me put some on me too. I'm getting a little older. I'm 65 and starting to get some different things, numbness and such on the body. And so anyway, I started seeing some results, positive results. And I happen to be in the area that Dr. Nicholas practices. And so I went into his clinic, and he saw me and got patched by the expert. And I had a lot of numbness still in my hands, where it was kind of locking in place every morning. I had to unlock for coffee. And anyway, Dr. Nicholas just quickly found the point right here near at the top of my shoulder, where the nerves go down into my arm, and used the Eon patch and had X39, and literally in less than a minute, symptoms all but disappeared. He said, "Is that better, worse, or the same?" And I said, "Wow, it's actually better." And so it really hasn't returned since, and it's been about what, a month and a half since I left there. So anyway, I wanted to share that with the group, and today I'm a manager too, by the way.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Fabulous. That's
So,
wonderful. Well,
but
thank you for sharing, Mike. And you know, we like to be conservative in expectations. There are some people that can have an instant experience, but not everyone. And that's why
exactly.
we recommend you stay on the patches for a while. I think Roevel has a story to share, and I'm going to open up the mic for you, Roevel. You should be able to talk now. You need to unmute your phone.
Hi, good evening.
Good
Just
evening.
wanted to share, a doctor reported that since 1979, she had been sleeping only 2 hours a night. She was extremely sleep deprived and really on the verge, having a lot of health issues, not being able to sleep. Well, after using the X39 for a couple of months, and she introduced Silent Nights and Alavita, pardon me for mentioning another patch, she is now sleeping 7 or 8 hours, although she does wake up after 4 hours and she meditates for an hour. She does go back to sleep for an additional 3 or 4 hours, and this is just phenomenal for her.
Wow.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Walt, would you share with everyone the first few questions you ask your patients? Because I think it's really important for us to understand how the body works and what it needs in order to work.
Well, all of my patients know that if they have any kind of pain or if they are not sleeping, I need to know that, you know, even if they're seeing me and something happens. Because if you are in pain and you're not sleeping, your body's not going to heal. I've got to get rid of those two things first. And sometimes getting rid of the pain will alleviate the insomnia, unless you're having some other emotional thing, then we go deeper into that. But those are the two things that you need to alleviate pretty quick. And then hydrate, because that also tells me they're not hydrating.
Great. And we have a lot, the X39 was not designed as a sleep patch, but
No.
it's one of the things we hear from so many people is the deep, restful sleep they're getting.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's where healing happens. So Erica wants to know, why does it take 3 to 4 months to see the full results?
Well, I don't know what's going on in your body. I mean, it could be in a month or it could be 2 months. We want to give those little stem cells a really good chance to clean up whatever is going on in your body and, you know, go from there. It's just something that you just need to do. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense. It's just like coming to me, and there's a lot of people that think you're going to get acupuncture for pain and it's done in the first treatment. Doesn't work that way. We got to get your body going, and these stem cells have to do their little miraculous job, and they will, and we'll figure it out.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And there's many layers of pain too. Sometimes the first level gets handled and the whole opens up a whole nother one. Yeah. So James is asking, his nephew had laser on his eyes, and there was a hiccup happened, and they said there was some damage done and it's unrepairable. Will the patches help heal the damage that was done? Highly
probable. I don't know what it was. It sounds like it was some kind of a retinal tear from the hiccups, but I would just put it in that vicinity. It can't hurt. So I would definitely try that without a doubt.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Erica wants to know, where is your private practice? What's it called? Because she wants to find you.
It's called right now Asian Health Traditions, and it's in Longmont, Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ancient Health Traditions.
No, Asian.
Asian Traditions.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Wonderful, wonderful. So we're a little bit past the bottom of the hour, but we started a little bit late. So Dr. Walt, is there anything else you want to make sure everyone knows about LifeWave and the patches before we complete our call?
The big thing is, like I said, make sure that you are out of pain and you're sleeping well, hydrate. And like to that gentleman, give the patches a chance. They're really going in there and working through years of what could be, you know, damage, or just trying to turn back the clock so that you can have a much healthier homeostatic life. There's nothing really dramatic about these things. You just slap it on and go about your day, hydrate, and you'll start to see some, like Robin knows, some miracles will start to happen, but give it time. Give it time.
That's so wise. And when I started, I usually share my story a little bit, but I was in pain from bone on my knee. And, I put the patch, like Dr. Walt says, at the, top of my spine on C7. And a week later, the knee pain was gone. And I went, whoa. But then all these other amazing things. And sometimes they're very subtle.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I noticed my skin improving because collagen production increases, and my hair quality and my nails and my reaction time and my deformed fingers straightened out.
Yeah.
It's in every day we hear miracle stories. And so
Yep.
we're so blessed that we have something that is so easy for people to be compliant. As Anheuser says, it's peel and stick. And and it's so wonderful because the results are extraordinary. And many times there's some unexpected, wonderful things that happen that people didn't even realize could be better. And they are. So this is the future of medicine.
Mm-hmm.
We want to thank Dr. Walt, especially for being with us this evening, and thank all of you as guests. If you were new to the call, new to LifeWave, get back to the person who invited you. We have some wonderful programs for customers and people that like to share. So if you're a customer, we have just a very, very generous program to reward you for being one of our customers. And if you're someone who likes to share, there's a very generous compensation for those of you that like to do that. And it has been life-changing for me in my health and my wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful to everyone. So thank you so much. And we'll see you next week.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.